hard working, dedicated. Would like to dedicate this to those who never hate it. Can't nothing hold us down, can always go another round. Welcome to the underground, real sports with real sports guys. It's a flex that had his mindset, ready for whatever grind next. My mindset, working with the time left, hard working, dedicated. Would like to dedicate this to those who never hate it. Can't nothing hold us down, can always go another round. Welcome to the underground, real sports with real sports guys.
All right, welcome to another edition of Real Sports Guys. Please check us out, Real Sports Guys, on all social media platforms. You can also get us at realsportsguys.com. Woo! We had our first weekend with March Madness. We got a lot to talk about. That'll be the heart of our show. Before I do that, I want to bring in the fellas, the team. Sometimes my therapy session. My fellas, my brothers, how y'all doing? I'll start with we got to start with the elder. We got to start with coach in retirement. Look, he just looked like somebody retired. What's up, coach? Look like you ain't got nobody on your phone, calling your phone. You got nothing going on. You just look too comfortable. We ain't even got out the golf. Man, you
Hey,
making me yearn for that retirement. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, man. It's a whole new world, whole other world, but it's great. It's beautiful, and I'm enjoying the tournament more than I ever have before. I get to really relish in it a little bit now, and not have to worry about a whole lot. And so it's great, man. It's just great to be here and good to be with you all this evening.
And then we got my boy C Hamp looking good over there. You know, he's everywhere all the time. You know, this is your RSG. You know, always representing. He over there like get your hand out my
New
pocket.
suit, I'm looking good. New suit, I'm looking good, bro.
How you doing,
Taylor,
man?
fresh.
All good.
I'm blessed. I'm doing well, man. Yeah, this came from a fundraiser in Lake Geneva. So yeah, so thank you for your grace. A little bit after the time, but thank you. You know, drive safely. Yeah, but things are good. Said tournament. Looking forward to tournament. Really good. First couple of days. You know, obviously my Badgers are at home now, but you know, really good season considering the circumstances where people thought they had us like 12th in the Big Ten. So yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it'd be good to, like I said, not to make Cinderellas. I mean, you can't count Arkansas as a Cinderella, even though they're a 10 seed. But no, it's really good. Baseball season starting tomorrow, so looking forward to that. My Cubbies, and yeah, so seeing if the Dodgers will lose it. Now, if they win it, I think more that they lose it. And yeah, NBA and see LeBron didn't, I guess won it tonight. So yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Yeah, so yeah.
All right, and then we got the youngin. Darnell just was down there hanging out with the Georgia folks at spring practice and doing all that stuff, sending me messages, sitting in on all these great seminars. The Dream, how you doing, man?
Oh yeah, good as always. You already tipped the audience off, but yeah, I did have a chance to sit in on some valuable season stuff over at University of Georgia. We had a great time. Learned a lot, and it was overall a great experience. So hats off to them.
All right, all right. Well, we're gonna jump into it right now. We're gonna kind of get into the news. We obviously there's a lot we pay attention to the world of sports, but nothing hit us bigger than JuJu Watkins the injury. I mean, it was crazy. The game started. She was cooking. I was like, let me just break away real quick. I get showered up. I'm gonna come back out. As I was coming out there, like they carried her off the floor. I'm like, carried off the floor. And just to see the injury, I mean, it broke my heart. I was just looking. I was so excited to see her and her team make a run, and it was for me crazy because it was right after the UConn game, and they were interviewing Paige Beckers, and what great up Paige is like. Paige got that spiritual center, and she was she talked about being grateful for the injury, not just grateful for everything, but she mentioned the injury she had gone through, and so
Mm-hmm.
she had just mentioned that, and just I mean, just coming off this amazing performance she just had, and then we go and then they interviewed Gino, and Gino's like, I want to get off so I can go watch JuJu, and so then JuJu's cooking. I go out and then she's injured, man, and it breaks your heart when these things happen, when you have these incidents. But just y'all perspective, as you looked at this and looked at what happened there, they Ephraim still Kiki was cooking and carried them all the way through, but Coach, I'll take it from you. I mean, when you're coaching, you go in, you have something like that happen. you got to pay attention to the person that's injured, right? And you got to get your team. Like, what is that situation like? I know you've been in a lot of different coaching situations, but how do you just about JuJu, but also about that moment and being a coach trying to manage that?
Oh, well, unfortunately, I've had that happen. Getting ready for the NCAA tournament, and it wasn't somebody to JuJu's caliber, but it was our sixth man, and just getting ready for a tournament, and just running down the floor and went down, and so all kind of things start to go through your head, okay? But what you come back to right away is the team. You know you got professionals that are going to take care of the player. You know there are people that are in charge of that, that are responsible for it. They'll let you know what will happen with them. But at that point, there's nothing you can do. I mean, it's going to be what it is. And so as much as you care, and you'll show all the care you have to after you're off the floor. But, in that moment, you have to go back and make sure the team is focused and the team is there and that you're all thinking about her. But they would want you to play. And that's where your mindset has to go at that point. And then, of course, like I say, after it's over, of course, you're going to run to the hospital and do what you got to do. But in those moments, the main thing is still the main thing, and it's not taken away from how you feel about it or anything else. But that's where it has to be. And just make sure people are focused. And they were. Matter of fact, they seem to come out with a vengeance after that. And that's kind of what you would expect, but that's what you want to see.
Yeah, I mean, that was a physical game, all around, and there are a lot of emotions with the crowd and everything else. I mean, you mean that was like, and the thing about this different from the women's tournament is the idea that as you saw in stores, they get the chance to play in their home space, and so like this was like the game. This is like the send off, right? For some of for a team like USC or a team like UConn. In some ways they get that extra burst playing in front of their fans, and so you could tell the emotions were high in LA. I mean, intentions and all that stuff came out in that moment. Darnell, as you looked at this, and just thinking about the landscape of women's basketball and the ability to bounce back. I mean, USC's got some talent, but just your thought process as someone who is, I know you were probably traveling back and everything else. Like, how did this hit you?
Well, I was at work, so I was at work and I saw it on my phone. I wasn't watching the game. I just saw it because I was at work, so I saw everybody's like, "Dang, JuJu, dang, JuJu." So I looked up, like, "What happened? What happened to JuJu?" I saw it, and instantly I was just sick. Like, I was like, "Man, I can't believe it." You just hate to see that sort of thing happen.
So Hammer, when you're looking forward, I mean, you see this team, you had a chance to watch it. I mean, USC is a talent team. I know they ran through the Big Ten, for the most part, and so their first year, when you think about that team, what do you see with them? I'm obviously thinking about JuJu, but that's still got a team with some talent.
Yeah, they're resilient. I mean, they blew the team out still. So I mean, that's the bottom line. And then JuJu is just everyone's reeling and heard about JuJu because the thing about JuJu is crazy is that I can't believe it's only year 2. It seems like she's been year 20. You know what I'm saying? It seems like she's been around forever. Just the impact she's made, and just the fact, just seeing her the other day with Jaden Dan hanging out with his mom and him. Yeah, you just saw how cultural phenomenon she was beyond basketball. But yeah, it's sad. But no, USC's got a lot of talent. You said Kiki, a lot of talent, and obviously I don't think they can go as far as they will with JuJu, of course, but I think they'll still be able to dance a long while before they get put out. Yeah, so.
Yeah, I think people should sleep on them. They got talent. Sometimes with things like this, you unlock some people, and they got some folks on that roster. I mean, it's hard to replace someone like that, but they got a lot of talent that having a few more days to get ready. You'll see what they have. The women's game though is live. I mean, I was watching Flage. I was going across. I mean, the talent that is in the women's game, it is unbelievable to watch it in a way that it can still hold its power, star power. Even with somebody great like JuJu, you still got you know, Hidalgo. You got all these other talented players across the like watching some of these games. It's telling you where the game is. But you know, when you have an injury like this and it's on Good Morning America, you think about where the game is right now. It's a game with a lot of visibility, and we'll be tracking that as we go. You know, we got our own RSG Tourney Challenge with that, and seeing where that goes. I know we had a lot of folks who had USC in that final game, so we'll see how that plays out. But you know, we got all the prayers going out to JuJu. I know she's going to make a recovery. She's got that the dog in her, so she's got that belief in
She does. It's just sad though, you know, it
she'll
happened this
yeah
time. It
yeah
happened this
yeah
time of year because I mean
yeah
she's gonna be out basically the full year
yeah.
and
And
come
she
back for the
yeah
tournament. So that's
yeah,
the thing
and
about it.
I'm sure people like Paige probably are going to reach out because Paige had to do the same journey. So, and I think that's
Mhm.
part of their, you know, uh, their community. Folks reach out to each other, and I bet there's going to be, you know, some of those folks, especially someone like Paige who had to go that same route. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Paige hadn't reached out to her. Yeah, you're right. It's going to be a journey, but we'll see her again as that. Other things that are happening in the world of sports. I know, Darnell, you always got something cooking that you've been paying attention to.
Yeah, the transfer portal.
Oh,
So we saw Will Wade got a job, right?
oh my goodness, we
And
can't
guess
talk
who?
about that. Yeah,
And guess who was coming with
you
Will
get on
Wade?
tape.
Hype
You get on
man, hype
tape.
man,
You get on
Guess
tape,
who's
but you
going
still
with
get a job.
hype man.
the manager is in the transfer portal. The
Mhm.
manager, Flavor Flav, is is in the transfer portal.
That's how it used to
Does
be though.
anybody have thoughts on that?
Man,
I,
I'm
I
telling you
mean,
right now,
what's good for
I'm
the
all
players?
for the young
Yeah,
man
I'm
doing
over
his
your
thing.
man too. Yeah, I mean, what's good for the players is good for the manager. When you were students, you could it wasn't the
Yeah,
portal, but you could transfer and still be a student after 1 year, but you
and
can't.
not only
Man, that's
is he in the transfer portal, but he has NIL deals. He has NIL money on the table.
God bless him, man. He deserves every penny.
It's
Yeah, every penny.
it's all about that capitalism. I'm mad at him,
I'm not mad.
and he still laid out some jewelry for the fellas. You see that one video? He made sure the team was hooked up. So he all about feeding it back. I ain't mad at him. Go on, Con. Do your
Hey,
thing.
I saw your brother Steve at work today. So I had to. So he wanted to make sure we brought it up. So I had to I had to do this for Steve.
And you know Steve got an opinion on this. What is going? Steve out there like your Lombardi. Like what the hell is going on out there? That's Steve's attitude. This cat getting it. Steve like, how can I get an NIL deal? You better go over there and hang out
Well,
with Michigan football. Come up with something. Be the manager. You can do it. Be an old school manager. Uh, what have you been paying attention to? I know, Hammer. You talked a little bit about baseball. We almost forgot. It's opening day coming up here, man.
yeah, man, I ain't forgot. No, it's great. But baseball, I mean, already technically it's the open day for everyone else. The Dodgers and the Cubs already did their season, even though it's sad it was 5 in the morning. And, it was great as far as I mean, I've heard something today that 1 out of every 5 Japanese people watch the game. That's stunning.
Yes.
I wish we had something like that in baseball here, but yeah, again, it's more where baseball is going to have a challenge. I mean, there's a lot of problems with their TV deals, and a lot of people going bankrupt the TV deals. Some of these stations, and you got people like the Cubs who got big TV deals, don't want to invest in the team, and basically living off that nostalgia of the Cubs and the fact that the Cubs is a destination. Game where people take vacation in Chicago. So yeah, so it's interesting where people. It's going to be a difficult thing for baseball because the Dodgers seem to be the juggernaut, the unstoppable, and deferring money, blah blah blah. So yeah, so I think that's the thing that look forward to the season. But I worry about baseball because really you don't have the captivating people you have had in the past because a lot of the talent is international now. It's not homegrown. It's not somebody. It's not really people about, and so that really hurts the game. Where college basketball, football, these cats when they're in college, them on the come up, and so they're easier to connect with, and people want to see their destination. Whereas baseball is not the case, and that's the thing where it's really is pronounced now, where international players are eating, but eating at expense of the American players, and people just aren't captivated by it anymore. They're not captivated by the sports. Yeah.
But like what's the kid from the Reds? Is it Dela Cruz? I
Yeah,
mean,
Ellie Dela
they
Cruz.
got
Yeah, he's
some
amazing. Yeah.
captivating. They got
Yeah, he
some
can ball,
guys.
but
They just
that's
don't
he
do a
can
good
ball.
job of
Again,
marketing him.
DWILS though it's not like Cooper Flag where you've seen this cat since he was 14 years old. You've been waiting for him. You knew he was going to Duke, waiting for him to go to Duke. Now he's in the tournament. He came back from an injury. Thank goodness. And so yeah, well, Dela Cruz, he's a phenomenal player. I mean, I saw him play. I was in Cincinnati with my guy Sean. Saw him 2 summers ago. Yeah, phenomenal player. Run like a deer at 6'5", 240.
6'5". Like I
Yeah,
didn't know he was that
great
tall. I
fielder.
saw
Yeah,
athletic was. I'm like, that
yeah.
kid 6'5".
But the main thing about it is it's even more. It's more of impact as a fan if you saw Dela Cruz come up, as a high school. But we used to see cats like Griffey Jr. see him as a high school player. A-Rod, Rodriguez, high school players. See him in the minor leagues. You were able to follow him. But these cats in the Dominican, they're wonders, but it's just not the same where you have a homegrown guy you've seen either through high school, college, ball out. He's a phenom, the natural, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, he's in the major leagues and you really feel that connection with him. Where Dela Cruz is phenomenal. You feel that connection to him too, but not as big as like a Griffey Jr. or a Bryce Harper or someone you saw come up. And so that's going to hurt the game where, really they need to integrate the international game better. And some of these world classics are good and sort of showcase the game, but you have more of those where they're able to showcase these players and really get them more in the mainstream instead of, on the periphery right now. What's happening? So,
Cecil, is there anything you paying attention in the news before we get into the heart of this? Things that been you've been watching.
Somebody got to tell me, what are my Steelers doing?
I can't tell you, but you know what I think they're doing.
And if anybody brings up Aaron Rodgers again to me, I will shoot them.
Have you seen a picture on the internet, Coach? I mean,
what are my
Steelers
Steelers
love for Aaron Rodgers? That's what I mean.
What up? No, I didn't see it. What was it?
Oh, it's a picture. I'll send it to you, Coach, where it shows it's week 7 of the season where the Steelers won big, and it shows it's pathetic. It basically shows Russell Wilson on the left looking real glum after whooping Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers hugging Mike Tomlin, and Mike Tomlin kind of whispering in his ear, basically about telling him, "You coming to us next year." That's what he's basically saying. I'll send you the picture.
Oh my gosh!
It's phenomenal. Yeah, but I'm looking forward. I want Rodgers. I think he's the type. He's still an excellent quarterback. I think Tomlin's the type to harness his talent and get rid of that mess. He gonna be doing the mess in Pittsburgh with Coach Tomlin. That ain't gonna happen. And so he's gonna be concentrating on football 100%. And that's good. Y'all Steelers fans should be happy. Because if you got Rodgers focusing on football 100%, y'all gonna eat. And then you got Metcalf and Pickens and Freiermuth and draft a good back. Y'all gonna be good. So I don't understand why people are tripping about Rodgers. As long as Rodgers balls out, that's cool.
Well, you just said, but you said the optimum word. If.
Yes.
He gonna ball out. If he doesn't ball out, he gonna be off the Steelers. He's gonna be out.
I believe that.
Ball out.
Totally
better
believe
ball
that.
out.
But his track record in terms of and then what does he leave in his wake? But again, I got all the faith in the world in Coach Tomlin. Coach T is my man. I have and that's what I'm saying. They had that come to Jesus talk for 6 hours, and maybe that's what Rodgers is trying to think about now is, can I work under what I know I'm going to have to work under? And
he's waiting after the draft. He's waiting after the draft. That's why I don't think it's more. He wants to see basically what weapons he has before he finally signs. I think he's there 9%, but he's going to see because the bottom line is that if I were Aaron Rodgers, I wouldn't trust Omar Khan. Omar Khan's trash. He wouldn't work GM in football.
I think
he's waiting to see basically what Omar
I think it's another thing. I think it's not really just about Aaron Rodgers. I do think there's somebody in the draft they like.
And I do too. I was going to say that.
I do think there's somebody in the draft they like.
And they are doing some. They're doing some talking with some other teams about moving up.
Yeah,
like
doing
Milroe.
some changes. So there might. I agree with that.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of people they're like. I think there's a scenario they think they can do that they like, and I think that's why they were waiting it through. But I think there's somebody in the draft they like, and so
They like Milroe. They like
huh?
Milroe in this show. They like
It could be Milroe. I
Jared
think they
Allen.
like Jackson Dart. I think Shador is.
Like
I think
Milroe.
Shador is. It's not about you to be thinking about this. It's
That's going to take a
Shador.
lot of moves to get. That'll take a lot of moves to get Shador though.
I think they're trying to figure out what that might look like. But I do think there's some guys there that they like that they think can get them there. And then if they go with Rodgers, it's clear. Hey, you only here for 1 year to get us through for that person.
Well,
Yeah.
Like I said,
I
I don't doubt Aaron Rodgers' talent or anything else. It's just all the other stuff to go with. And if that is the case, like you say, Hammer, and I believe it, if he's going to come there, he's going to know what the deal is, and he's going to have to abide by it.
And the bottom line, he got no more options. He got no more option with New York.
No, he doesn't.
Tying up with Russ and Winston. The Titans going to go with Cam Ward. The early money was the Titans were going to take him because Callahan's son's going to get fired if he doesn't win this year. All of them seem to be signing for quarterback. He and Pittsburgh have to get together, or he's going to retire.
He might. The retirement is always an option for him, but
I don't see that. I think it's mutually beneficial for Tomlin to get.
It's not mutually beneficial if he bring all that other stuff with him.
He's not bringing that mess. He's not bringing. This is a guy. DWILS. This is a guy that kept.
He's done it. He's done it the last 3 years.
Antonio Brown started clowning after he was with.
But Rodgers got a different ego. Rodgers got a different ego.
Again,
maybe he just wants some.
He ain't gonna be there with Coach Tomlin and clown. It's not.
I can't have you on the podcast.
He was probably cussing him out for 6 hours.
Yeah, but I think part
of 5
it is,
hours and 59 minutes, 59 seconds. You're not
gonna do the Pat McAfee over here. It's just not happening. We ain't doing
that. I'll do it.
So if he's willing to do that, I'm not sure he's willing.
Well,
like I said, it's always
I don't think sitting down. Tom, I don't think sitting down for 6 hours.
What'd you say, Coach? Hold on a second.
No, I just said it's always an if, and like I said, they sat down for 6 hours, and obviously there had to be some back and forth. So we'll see. I think the draft is something that's something that they're toying with and everything else. But it's just been one of those miss me rides when they get rid of, and again, not they get rid of the running back. They're not sure. They signed Mason Rudolph again.
Rudolph,
yeah. I mean, it's just so that I'm just like I said, start out.
He's a good third stringer.
Now, the running back situation, I thought they needed to let my boy go. I just think sometimes he wasn't running hard, man. He wasn't
running. Najee would run every so often when he felt like it.
Najee was good, but Najee wasn't. He wasn't the 20. He wasn't where he was drafted. So
he was a selective performer.
And I think they tried to hang on to him, thinking that was going to happen, and it just didn't happen.
They didn't give him a 5th year, so they didn't really hang on to him. They didn't give him a 5th year, Coach.
True that. They were sending a message early. That's right.
Oh yeah.
Now I don't want to belabor this too long. I just want to bring it up, and it doesn't have to go too much further than this because it speaks for itself. It's the elephant that's in the room through this thing before we move on, and I just have to say one word. Gonzaga. Okay, we can go on now.
Look,
they played. Can't trust it. That's Gonzaga.
They played well. They started extending pressure, and this is going to be the new reality. You're going to have these matchups in the second round because this is going to be the new reality. It's going to be the number one teams are going to be facing tough teams in the second round. Teams that if they win, they can go on a run. Gonzaga played well down the stretch on that one. I got nobody. They did that thing. They just waited too long to put pressure on them.
Hey, it's Gonzaga. I know. Kelvin Sampson. He went on this big rant in the press conference because somebody called him Gonzaga, and he was like, "They gotta pronounce it right now." I'm messing with y'all, but
Kelvin got to come. Kelvin got to start coming to press conferences with that same energy when he lose. I've been there when he's lost, so Kelvin got to come with that same energy when he lose.
Hey, it's not often.
But I've been there when I've been there. You remember when he tried to explain the Wisconsin loss when Johnny gave it to him? Yeah, he was trying not to give anybody credit. You know,
Hey, so how many
young man did it to you.
how many years have you been holding this grudge?
I've held it. No,
You
no.
been holding because he ain't giving Wisconsin credit.
No, what I appreciate with people like Mark Few, he got the same energy, win or lose. Win or lose. Kelvin sometimes he got that different energy, man. I like him as a coach, but he got that different energy.
No, he keeps the same energy, win or lose. You got to listen to all. You got to listen to his press conferences.
He got a different.
No,
kind
he's
of
always like that. When they win, like I remember I was watching one of the press conferences. Terrence Arsenault had a good shooting night. He was a real good shooting night, and he was like, hey, when he has a good shooting night, he's not Steph Curry, and he has a bad shooting night. You know what I'm saying? He didn't just forget how to shoot. He seems like good things happen, win or lose. Kelvin Sampson is a very process oriented guy. So when when Wisconsin had a game like they had, he was like, "Oh, we got to do what we got to do." It wasn't Wisconsin. We got to play up to our standard.
Nah, he was throwing some shade, man. You and I talked about it afterwards.
That's just the way Kelvin.
It wasn't just. It was like it was like he was throwing some shade, man. He was throwing some shade. Don't give him all that. I know you love this guy. When you love somebody, boy, you love them. They can't do you no wrong. I watched that with you. You love them. You miss it all. They can't do you wrong. I understand why you love them, though. You can't do you no wrong. You and I even talked about it afterwards. Like, yeah, he was a little overboard with that. Yeah, he wouldn't, because he thought he was gonna walk through him. And I told you before the thing, I was like, this guy Johnny gonna get in him. And he thought he was gonna put that bully in a block on him, and Johnny gave it to him. And he could. I don't think he could. I think he was stunned that somebody could give it to him like that. I don't think he thought that was possible. But he wasn't really looking. You give him a little too much thing. But I understand, man. They're a great team. They're gonna run. But I thought the Zags played them tough. And you're gonna have more matchups like that in future tournaments.
Gonzaga had a good last 5 minutes, but Houston led the entire game except for like 30 seconds of the game.
Yeah, but that's how the game rolled.
5 minutes until 5 minutes of the game.
Those ain't good.
They
You
were
gotta
up
win.
matter. If they do
You
the
gotta
last
win.
5 minutes,
Houston was up by 14. Houston was up by 14 before the flagrant foul on
Tell them, Darnell.
Which is not what I expected the game to go.
They're a bunch of chokers.
You expected Houston to
can't trust them. Can't trust them. Bunch of chokers. You had the nerve to co-sign on that.
All I'm saying is
that's all he is.
Coach said it's not gonna go on. I knew it.
No, you said no. Devon, you said if they lose, they was gonna be on the can't trust us list.
They are on the can't trust us list. They gotta be.
But you back in the ultimate can't trust the team.
Look, Houston not that far. I already told you they still gotta win, or they're gonna be right there hanging with us with the can't trust us list.
So they gotta win the championship. So if they lose,
they're gonna be the new Arizona.
If they lose to Duke,
ain't no can't trust.
They the new Arizona.
Can't trust the team. People Duke is the favorites, man. I mean, don't. Houston,
they're the new Arizona.
I want to win because I pick them, but if Houston doesn't win, ain't nobody gonna say you can't trust it with them.
Okay, it's about finishing the deal. It's not
if Houston goes to the Final Four and they lose to Duke, they're a can't trust the team with all those 5 stars and all.
Hey, we build Houston up all year like they're supposed to be the team. All year.
No, they're supposed to be a Final Four team. Nobody thinks.
Oh, come on now. Now y'all back feeling like Michael Jackson. All I need to hear is
man.
You sound like somebody
all I need to hear is Come on now. Y'all backslide like Michael. One of y'all gonna do
I stand by my pick, but I still say they make Final.
Where do y'all got them?
Y'all got Four. That's a problem. I'll pick you that one.
You
know what got winning? I said Duke.
That's a problem.
I said Duke with my full chest, but we talked about it before. This might have been the episode before we had Coach on.
Look, man, Coach K had the same kind of run. He kept going to Final Four. They wanted to fire him before he won.
Yeah, well, they were smart enough and they didn't fire him.
He was on the can't trust it with.
We
can't keep rewarding you for getting to the Final Four when you're supposed to be one of the top teams in the country. Come on, man.
Mind you, you guys worship Barry Alvarez.
I don't worship
ain't
Barry.
nobody
y'all,
worship him.
Come on, man.
Wisconsin,
Thank Barry for
I
thank Barry
criticize
Wisconsin
for turning the
worship
both.
Barry
program.
Alvarez.
I
Thank
criticize
Barry
Your
for
both.
turning
squad,
the
your
program
squad,
Don't
around.
switch
Michigan,
it up.
your
Don't
squad,
switch it up.
Michigan
Yeah,
worship.
bro, you
Your
realize
squad, Michigan
you
worship
realize you
Bo
realize
Schembechler.
Don't, hey,
Your squad,
you
Michigan,
realize
Hold
they
on.
Darnell,
y'all
you realize
worship Bo
you realize
Schembechler.
hold it. You're not critical of
Darnell,
both.
before
Hold up. Hold up. What are you saying, Carl? We got. Oh Lord.
No, the bottom line, Darnell, you understand, Wisconsin, when I was growing up, that W meant a win for us. That's what Wisconsin
That's
meant.
right.
That's what Wisconsin meant. That's how raggedy Wisconsin was.
That's right.
You saw a W, that's like, we winning, but today, bro. we win today. We saw a W, like, that's our W.
My
That's
brother
everybody's
Steve
W.
said when Wisconsin would come into town, you could tell if they won or lost. They lose Michigan by 30 and 40. Wisconsin fans was partying out in Ann Arbor like they won by 40. So that's what we're talking about, man. So when you talk about cherishing Barry Alvarez,
You're right.
that's a flip. That's a flip, man. So
Yeah, you talking about a Houston team
that's
that hasn't been
different.
to the tournament in 20 years.
Huh?
You talking about a Houston team that been to one tournament in 20 years.
Yeah, but they have a tradition with
I know
Guy
they got a
Lewis
tradition with Hakeem Olajuwon and
Elvin
Elvin
Yeah.
Hayes.
Hayes and
Yeah.
Hakeem. No, even before Hakeem, we're talking about Elvin Hayes, man.
I said
Yeah.
Elvin Hayes.
Guy Lewis is
Yeah.
true, man.
All right. We
All
warmed
right.
up. We warmed up now. We warmed
Elvin
up.
Sampson
Darnell got us warmed up.
had to beg people to go to
I
the
didn't
game.
mean to throw that grenade in the middle of the group.
Coach put that meat. I knew you was gonna come with it. I was about to take my sword right here as when I transitioned. Coach set me up, got me, and you know I'm gonna fight to the end. I don't care. I'm gonna come out here and fight to the end. I know y'all was ready to bring that smoke. I know sometimes it's hard to get me in the corner. Y'all finally got me. I'm okay with that. All right, we're gonna get into it. We got Sweet 16 going. Boy, my brothers, boy. This is what we love about I love about all y'all. This is why y'all make my day. We're gonna talk about breakdown. Let's start out, Darnell, since you warmed up already. Like what kind of trends did you notice in this first couple rounds? What's some things that just kind of stood out overall in this first round that kind of just piqued your interest before we get
A lot
into
of
that?
just overall, there's a lot of talented teams.
Yeah.
A whole lot of talented teams. Even teams that underperformed during the regular season, once they make it to the tournament, they're still dangerous. Like we saw Arkansas team that they struggled at the beginning, especially the beginning of conference play. I think they went 0 for their first 5 or 7 games, something like that. I think they're like 1-7 when they started, but they started to rally a little bit towards the end of the season, and now they're playing. You know what I'm saying? They play real hard, and you can't overlook they have some talented guys. DJ Wagner at one point was a 5-star. I know he didn't necessarily live up to expectations, but he was. He is a talented guy. You still got Boogie Fland in there. You got Biggs. You know what I'm saying? You can say the same thing about North Carolina in their first game. I know they came up fairly short in their second game against Ole Miss, but hey, when you get them in a tournament, they were dangerous. But then you still had some. I know we didn't have a whole bunch of upsets, but you still saw Bennett Sturts play very well. You had some guys that were at the lower level schools that played good as well. So I think overall across the field, we saw a lot of talent, and it didn't really lead to a whole bunch of upsets, but there were a lot of competitive games. So it was a fun weekend of basketball.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think people are looking for those upsets, but you're right. I think there were a lot of competitive games. And to me, that was the exciting thing about it. Like, it was, people playing down the stretch, making big plays, the energy there, the crowd. Like, there were a lot of competitive basketball being played. Coach, your observations, just overall.
Well, I can't add too much more to that. I mean, I
Yeah.
thought it was a satisfying weekend of just good basketball. I don't know, because of the current state of the sport and how people are moving around. And I have to agree with some of the sports writers that we're talking about early. I think Jay Will was talking about it a little bit, and so were the other guys on Get Up on ESPN, is that I don't know if there's ever a real upset anymore. I mean, or a surprise, I'll say, kind of thing because of the portal and stuff. But the games sure are good. The basketball games in general just were good. And just when you thought somebody was out of it, somebody make a run and come back, and all of a sudden you got a game, you know, but again, like we started out early in the year saying, even when the good teams are pushed, they came back and the cream just keeps rising to the top because they just have more weapons. But overall, it was just a fun weekend to watch the games, and people played hard. And even though there were some people that seemed like, you know, they lost, they were broken up about it, but they could go away knowing that they played their ass off and they just got beat, and it happened.
Carl, I'll finish with you. Just your observation before we jump in to the Sweet 16.
No, there's a reason why this tournament is the highest rated in the last 30 years. Is because we have the cream of the crop talent, because of the transfer portal, because of NIL, and we've got the best basketball I've seen, both sides, offense and defense. These cats are getting paid. They're balling on both sides. They're impact players. And the one thing that I'll say is that I'm glad the Cinderellas aren't in there. I don't want to see Raggedy Ann U anymore in the NCAA. I want to see blue blood, cream of the crop, the best. I want to see the Oaklands. I want to see the best. I want to see these raggedy teams that you can't pronounce. You don't know what the dude look like. This dude that you'll never see him again on a TV screen unless he's a coach. So I'm glad again. I want more transfer portal, more NIL, because it comes to excellence. That's the bottom line. And we saw the best basketball I've seen in the past 30 years, pro level style. They're playing both sides of the ball. And I'm not even a college fan. I was into it. I'm like, they are. I mean, Brother Queen, what he did. Oh my goodness, that play. I mean, this is a friend. I mean, the cream of the crop. And we'll have one Cinderella. I look at the list we have out here. No Raggedy Ann U. I'm glad. I don't want to see Raggedy Ann U. Let Raggedy Ann U stay at home. Okay, they can win. They can win tournament and get the dance, but stop them after they dance one time. I want to see the best.
This is what we do at RSG. We create new terms.
Ever. That's all I want to see.
Raggedy Ann U.
No,
we are off and running.
And all the things that these so-called media experts are talking about. We're against the portal. We're against NIL. We're against the domination of the blue bloods. The people ain't saying that. The people are watching the best basketball. So all that hype on Infinity Network and ESPN Radio, the fans said, nah, we want to see the best.
All right.
Tell them to stay at home. Raggedy Ann U.
All right, we got you.
I'm right, man. I'm getting a bumper sticker with that on it.
I'm about to get it. We don't want to see no raggedy. We got to put that one on the shirt. Thank you, Ham. We about to put it on the shirt. All right, we're gonna start out the way we're gonna do it.
Look at Darnell. Darnell ain't got nothing to say. Darnell like, his brother's crazy.
we have crushed the Cinderella. The glass slipper has been crushed on RSG. We are okay with that. I'm with that. I will let it roll. All right, we're gonna start out with Ole Miss against Michigan State. We got Cecil and Darnell giving us their thoughts around kind of the keys and things the way they see it. We'll all kind of weigh in on who we think is going to get it after they do their weigh in on the pros and cons of it. Darnell, I'll start with you on your assessment of this game and this matchup, Ole Miss and Michigan State. What you think are the keys in this game, and then I'll go to Coach.
Hey, these are two teams that I like a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? Ole Miss, led by Coach Chris Beard. They did play each other in the Final Four back in 2019 when Chris Beard was at Texas Tech, and of course Izzo was still at Michigan State. But the hallmark of Chris Beard's teams, they're going to play defense, they're going to rebound. The hallmark of Tom Izzo's team, they're going to play defense, they're going to rebound. They were both led by solid point guards. You know, Ole Miss has Sean Padula. You also have a big man in Malik Diaz that can crash the boards, control things in the paint. So it's going to be a matchup that's going to be I think this one's going to go down to the wire. At the end of the day, I think Michigan State has enough to come out with the victory on this one because they have so much depth in the front court. You know, they play like four bigs, I believe. And then Jace Richardson, I believe. I trust him to be the best player on the court when it comes down to it. So I think Michigan State will come out with the victory. But hey, I've been telling y'all all season long, don't sleep on Ole Miss. Ole
I
Miss has
know.
been playing some good ball. But hey, I got Michigan State on this one.
All right, Coach, your thoughts of this game?
Well, it'll be short and sweet. I'll start with that one because you remember we said this back in November in Maui that Izzo had his team.
Mm-hmm.
You could see that this was the foundation of what Izzo is all about, and you could say that he's got his team that he's used to having through the years, and they've done nothing but get better and better, playing in that same style that he's coached for years, which is a winning style. Like you said, Mississippi State, big time D, hit the boards hard, opportunistic on their scoring opportunities, hit big shots when they need to. They come through when they need to, and that's kind of a sign of the coach and the team. Michigan State, same way, but it's just steady state. And at some point, it wears people out. At some point, it gets to, they just keep coming at you. They keep running people at you, even though they're one man down right now, but it hasn't seemed to affect them too much. They keep coming at you. Carr has just gotten better and better all through the season, and now he's just clowning. He's just out there having fun. And they'll wear him down, and it'll be a good game. But at some point, Michigan State's just going to step away from him. And just because, if nothing else, they're going to wear him down physically for one thing, and I think they're going to take it.
Yeah, and I think y'all both did it. I mean, we'll jump in real quick. Darnell came and talked about Ole Miss, and I just started watching them. Their pick and roll game is tough. I mean, the way they spread you and get downhill, Padula and
Yeah, Sean
Murray.
Padula, he
I
played
mean,
at
yeah,
Virginia Tech, I believe.
yeah. I remember that's. I was like, where's this kid? That's a player, and in the way he knows how he runs that, along with Murray. And they got some bigs who can step out. I mean, I think this game, I think Michigan State can win because I think part of it is going back to that Maui. There's a lot of competition there, and I think Ole Miss plays a style that they've seen, and I think it's going to come down. I mean, it's going to come down to the last 3 minutes. And I can. These are great coaches, so it's not like one can manage it. I just feel like, as Cecil, you said, I think Michigan State, the Spartans, going to win on this one. Thank y'all
Yeah,
for
it's because
breaking it down.
I think the biggest thing is the depth.
Yeah.
Because like we mentioned, we already talked about Sean Purdue at the guard position.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at Michigan State, they're deep at guard. They got guys that can guard. They can put different bodies on. They can put Jeremy Fears on them. Trey Holloman, Jace Richardson. You know what I'm saying? Akins probably get his shot at him. You know what I'm saying? And then as far as the big man, Cohen Carr, sometimes he could guard up because he can jump and he's real strong. Also, they have Carson Cooper from Jackson. He'll get his chance at him. You got Jackson Kohler down there. You got Simone Zabala. So they got plenty of depth. So
it feels like a Michigan State thing. I'm assuming, Carl, you think it's going to be Michigan State?
Yeah, I think the key to that is the perimeter defense of Michigan State. Best at the three in the country. Really, that's the equalizer, and that's really the neutralizers, rather the equalizer. Having that perimeter defense in the and now we know where the three is so dominant. Even the Ole Miss is very talented, also very veteran as well. A lot of veteran players, and so I think it's going to be a really close game. But I think the perimeter defense is going to be the key. And Darnell talked about the fact that Michigan State has those guards that are versatile, that are not only good scorers but also good defenders. I think that's going to be the difference in the game. While Michigan State will advance and Ole Miss will go home. Yeah. So, but Coach Beard's done a great job. He's come back. A lot of credit to him. He's come back and he's one of the best, and just needs to keep his personal life in order, which I hope he does. From now on. So yeah.
He definitely making things happen. So we're going to jump to Carl and I'll do a little overview of how we feel about the Auburn Michigan game, and get that going. Carl, I'll let you jump out and get your thoughts on Auburn.
Oh, I think Auburn will win this, but again, Auburn's really been inconsistent, especially down the stretch. They still got the overall number one for a reason. They were inconsistent even, like I said, last game. So the bottom line, I think with Auburn and Broome, I just think that they'll be. But again, are they going to beat themselves? I think that's going to be the scenario. With Michigan, it's also going to beat themselves. Michigan turns the ball over too much, even though they're great scorers, and especially Wolf for a 7-foot guy with 3 turnovers a game. That's unacceptable. And so I think really the bottom line is that with Donaldson, I think that Auburn will win, but the key to this game is, are they going to beat themselves? I think both sides. That's good. That's really the trend in this game, and I think that's what you're going to see as far as who wins this game is who's going to at least beat themselves. And I think that will be Auburn. But
got Donaldson playing against his old team too.
That's right. That's right. He's an Auburn guy, and so yeah, that'll be interesting to see if he's got a little scouting report and things like that. That's a great point, Darnell. The trade also came from Auburn, and yeah, so that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, Carl, I love your framework of like which are they going to beat themselves? I think that was a really good way to frame it for both these teams, and because the number one thing with Michigan is you put it like it's going to be what their guards do, and also taking care of the ball, but also Wolf, not just only not turn the ball over, but finishing at the rim.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, as talented he is, 2 things: he should shoot free throws better, doesn't shoot free throws as well as somebody you think is skilled he is, and then he misses a lot of bunnies at the rim. I'm the kind of person I feel like taking a half a rebound away from you if you miss point blank. You don't get no credit for the second one at all. But the thing about it is, what you've seen them up to this point is their ability, especially through their Big Ten run, is getting Golden and Wolf helping to win that glass battle. And when you got somebody like Bruin and how they get after it, you got to be able to if you can control the glass and those two can really do it. But they got to have the guard play. I think Michigan's guards got to score combined between 15 and 20 points. They got to give you something. They got to be engaged in this to be it. And then Roddy Gale's got to be in attack mode. When that dude is doing his thing, I think that's going to be a good thing as well. Auburn's got to pressure Michigan's guards, and they got to pressure Wolf out front, force him because sometimes he gets a little loose with the ball. I say he gets Steph Curry with the ball sometimes. Steph will turn that ball over. He gets Steph hurried in a minute in that, and they got to run when they have a chance. They got to get out, and they got to get Broome involved early. They can't, sometimes he can disappear on the floor a little bit. They got to get him involved early and keep him going. And then they got your boy Chad Baker Mazzara has got to be focused. Towards the end of the season, it was like he was a little bit off, and he's kind of made me nervous. Like he gets easily distracted. He's the key. He is like for me. I think because he can do so much on both ends. When he's not quite right, I think he's an important piece, and so he's got to be focused. He's got to get back in it. He's got to not get so caught up in a lot of things. He gets caught up a lot on the floor with a number of things, so he's got to be focused. I see. I see Auburn moving on. My heart is with Michigan, but Auburn's got too much. I wouldn't be surprised with the upset. Michigan was up on 15 on Arkansas earlier in the year. Let it go. Up on Oklahoma earlier in the year. Let it go. They learned how to win those close games down the stretch. This is since this part of the season. So if it's close, I would give them a chance. But this Auburn team, when they focus with a week of preparation, that's a tough team to beat.
And what do those two teams have in common? Arkansas and Oklahoma.
Okay, that's a good point.
They can raise up on you.
Jeremiah Fears.
Yep.
For
They got the
Oklahoma.
guards. Yep.
Boogie Fland and DJ Wagner for Arkansas.
They
so
can put
watch out for Tahad Pettiford.
But I think Michigan's guards have played better down the stretch here, guarding and being assertive themselves. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, they learned a lot of it. You're going to find out. This is definitely the final exam. Because if you don't, Like you said, Pettiford, all these guys over here can go. When they go, they're a problem. Once they get cooking, it's over. It's over. Coach,
Yeah,
what do you?
we saw
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, we saw the Michigan State game that was in Christ Arena. It really changed. The momentum switched when they put Cohen Carr on Danny Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder who they put on Wolf, who Auburn puts on Wolf in this
Yeah.
game. Will they put Broom or will they put Carwell, Dylan Carwell?
Yeah, Cardwell.
They'll put Carwell on
Oh
him.
well, yeah, they ain't putting Broom on him yet. They might put
No,
Broom
Broom will
next
stay
time.
around
Yeah,
with him. They're not going to pull him out. And Carwell is already proven. We've seen him all year. He's guarded guards.
Yeah.
I mean, the way Auburn started out the year, they were switching everything, and they were letting Carwell in particular, because the people were leaving their post player on the block against Broom. Broom was handling stuff, and Carwell was out on the perimeter, out around the art garden people, because that big boy can move.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean he can guard people, and early on when they were playing well, he was really shutting people down. So they'll just have him match up with Wolf, and like you say, Wolf scares me sometimes because he thinks his handles are better than they are. I appreciate what they are at 7 foot, but he can let himself get carried away a little bit out there trying to handle a rock. And again, it ain't going to come that easy against Carwell as much as it might look like it will, because he's quick, he's big, he's long armed, and he's guarded guards before. So that's going to be an interesting matchup. It'll be an interesting matchup inside too. And again, guys have been taught this technique. Golden's been taught this technique where he walls up a lot. Walling up ain't going to help him against Broom. Okay, Broom will go right through him and over the top of him, and he won't keep him away from the rim as well as he's done with some of these other teams. But that being said, Michigan has fought their ass and fought back hard in games. Okay, they got a little dog comeback mentality. The coach was talking about that after their last game, thinking about the number of games they've had to come back. That's going to be, for me, I think, Hammer, you started out with it, is that Auburn just has to come to play. They haven't come to play in a long time.
Yeah,
in a long time. They need to stop the BS and come to play from the jump, so people can see how good they are.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, because the thing about it is, if you let Wolf out the bottle, you in trouble.
True.
That's the one thing about him. If you let him out the bottle, you can't put that genie back. And so he starts feeling it. And so I think that's why they got to come out serious in that game, and because he can get them all in foul trouble. Now, he ain't gonna make his free throws. He better figure out how to do that. But he can do something. So it's gonna be interesting. We're gonna jump to I think I got next Duke in Arizona, and this is myself and Cecil, Coach Cecil. I'll start with Arizona. Your old school will appreciate this. Caleb Love needs to find his inner Andrew Toney. In his wins, he's got 5 wins against Duke. Because Andrew Toney used to show up against the Boston Celtics every Sunday. Like he might be 1 for 20 against the Bucks on Friday night. That Sunday game on CBS, he going for 25, 30. And Love seems to like playing against Duke. He's in the games they won, he's averaging 28 points, shooting like 44%, 35% from 3. He's cooked in games like that. So he's got to find his inner Andrew Toney in that game to kind of make it happen. They got to limit second chance points with Duke. Duke is long, and they can create possessions and touch the paint. They got to. Sometimes Arizona looks good. They've seen them before, so hopefully that won't be something that'll get them. Duke, it begins with defense. As much as people are impressed by their offense, once they get there, when their defense just generates so much, and they got to crowd Love, they got to make him feel them with that size, and they got to get out and run. Like once they get it, boom, and they got to touch the paint. I feel like Duke is gonna handle this, but someone like Love is not scared, so it's gonna be a guy like that can carry something on his own. He can get cooking, and he's been in all these spaces. He could be a dangerous player. I'll go to you, Coach.
Well, I guess I'll start there. He can be dangerous, and also he could be a problem. I've seen him where he's tried to take over a
Shoot you
game
in, shoot you out.
and he just played him right out of the game, you know, because he wants that moniker, he wants to carry the flag, but there are some times where he tries to carry it too much. And as much as say he's got Duke's number, this year was the most inconsistent I've seen him play. You know, and I've been watching him over the years, and the dude can ball, but you know, there's a reason he's still at Arizona too, and not. I think he wanted to go to the league 2 years ago.
Facts.
But like I say, you know, it depends on, and also one man ain't gonna beat Duke. Okay, as much as he might drop 27, he better be getting it off to some people too, and having everybody else involved in the game. So the thing about it's hard to put against Duke is because they are on a roll. You know, one of the things I look at is who is really playing good basketball right now, and it's Duke. I mean, they are just playing good basketball. They're playing outstanding on the defensive end of the floor. They communicate well. Offensively, it's like they just read one another left and right. Proctor doesn't know how to miss. You know, I mean, he is just in such a lane now, but all that comes from the way they're playing together. Open shots are like a regular thing for them, and they're just playing awfully good. It's going to be awfully hard to beat them just because of how well they are just playing as a unit, regardless of whether Caleb gets off or not. He's got to overcome an entire team that's also 10 people deep. You know, they run people in and out like it doesn't matter. All of a sudden, there's another big, tall 7-footer out there on the floor, and you're like, oh my gosh. You know, Londo was watching the game the other day and said, "Didn't he just come out?" And I said, "No, that's a different brother." You know, so but no, they're just playing too well right now, and playing too well together, and playing at the defensive end of the floor. And so if you're going to beat them, it's going to have to be a total team effort, because one guy isn't going to push them like maybe it would have in the past.
Yeah, I mean, and they got other players, so it's not like they don't have other players with Arizona. I just think that he's a big shot maker, and so they got other players. I mean, Arizona's deep and talented. They haven't quite.
Yeah, Vassar, the big man.
I know that, but I've seen
games. Jaden Bradley. They got to get. That's how I'm playing against.
Obviously, they've got a nice squad. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying there have been games where Caleb tries to carry too much of the load.
Yeah,
they got Tommy Lloyd too. He's protege that can't trust it. So I wouldn't trust him anyway. He's been talking too long. Yeah, he knows how to lose. So yeah, he's a good coach. Like I said, man, don't have him, man. When the game matters, man, can't trust it. You can't trust it, man. Matthews, right-hand man, can't trust it. That's a bottom line.
So I think we're all loving Duke on this one, unless there's somebody going there. Okay. All right, we got Darnell Carl with the Florida and Maryland. We'll go with you, Carl, first on your assessment of Florida, Maryland, and then we'll go to Darnell.
Oh, we saw, with the Crab Five, Brother Queen, Reese. But it's not Florida with Clayton, and just it's Florida's been the reason why kind of before Cooper Flag was kind of cleared, people knew that they were maybe the favorite initially. It was a very deep team, very talented team. Had some turmoil beginning of the season with the Title IX stuff with Coach Golden, he was exonerated. And so I think Florida's going to win this. But we've seen that team, Gillespie, Maryland's special team. But I think this is going to be Mr. Villard's last game before he becomes Villanova's coach next week. So that's what I think. Yeah.
So where you at, Darnell?
Yeah, so I'm pretty much in the same boat. I got Florida winning this one. I think the guards are going to be a difference, but hey, the bigs are going to battle it out. You got Derek Queen, you got Julian Reese going against Alex Condon, and I keep forgetting the other bigs' name for Florida, but Florida plays two bigs pretty much the whole game, so it's going to be interesting to see how that battle plays out, and to see if Maryland can swing it in their favor. But at the end of the day, I got Florida. Walter Clayton Jr. He's special. He had a real off night against UConn. They had a really good plan for him. But when it was time for him to show up,
Yeah, he came up
he
money
did.
time. he showed when it was time to go get that money and make Danny Hurley run off the court, yelling at everybody like we've seen him do. He said, that boy right there, boy. Whew. I'm like, man, if I wish he could drop to the Pistons, we'd add him to it, but we can't get him. We got some.
How do you
That
know he
brother gonna
won't
make a
drop
lot
to
of
the
money,
Pistons?
huh?
How do you know he won't drop to the Pistons?
Well, I hope he does. We can
I was
add
about to
him
say
in.
I was about to say the NBA draft boards and like regular just us watching college basketball are two different things.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of them GMs get fired. The same ones who didn't
Yeah.
get connect. Yeah, they all think they know until they don't. There's a
The
lot of
connect,
fireable people.
yeah.
A lot of mediocre people in them front offices. So don't give
Yeah,
me no GMs or the NBA. A
people
lot of
got your boy John Todgy going undrafted.
Yeah, he ain't getting drafted, man. I think if he finds the right club, he could possibly be, bench player. But he just not. I mean, you saw that Michigan game. If he's off with the lack of athleticism, he's just not effective. And the NBA is a fierce thing. You paying 2-3 games a week. You have to have supreme athleticism, and so I just don't see. I mean, I hope he's a phenomenal story too. I put him down. He's the best portal player in the country. No question. It's not even a question, but I mean, it's a different game in college. So yeah, I thank him for his 1 year.
Well, Junior, he's an NBA player playing the NCAA game. Like, there's no difference between he plays and what he can do in the league. And if you can't make that translation with him, then I don't know who you are as a GM. You need to. I mean, that what he does plays on any level.
I haven't seen him in the lottery.
He's 6'5", and yeah,
he's 6'5". We ain't talking about size. He's 6'5", and if you can't figure that one out, I'm not saying he should be in the top 5. But if he's not a first round draft choice, y'all, I don't know what
he's a first round draft choice.
You gotta remember, Terrence Shannon didn't go in the first round last year.
He did. That's not true. He did.
33, right?
No, he went in the first round.
He's not the same type of explosive scorer that
he went in the first round.
Like that.
This guy right here.
Yeah, he went in the first round, though.
Yeah. And
he was dropping so much.
Y'all
think he went second round, but no, I'll tell you what pick he went. He went first round, bro. He went. He went 27, bro.
Oh,
but people thought he was doing lotto. So that's what happened.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna go to Kentucky and Tennessee. We got Coach. We got you and Carl. I'll start with you. Kentucky and Tennessee. Now, Kentucky they beat Tennessee twice already this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2 wins over them. Yeah.
But they shot like 50% from 3. But
and they also played good defense too. Yeah. So like I said, I still think third time's a charm. I picked Tennessee in this one. I think that they're not going to replicate the 25% they had from deep. 3 times. You don't be a great team 3 times. I think again, Tennessee. I picked them with Ziegler with that team. I picked them to win the game. Yeah. So.
All right. Your thoughts, Coach? I mean, Kentucky coming together. They're coming in.
Exactly. I mean, you're stealing my words, but that's what I'm seeing right now. Is I'll be honest with you. I haven't been that impressed with Kentucky through the course of the season. I see it play kind of up and down. Some games they play brilliant. Other games they don't. Through the course of the game, their mentality changes throughout the game. I just seen Tennessee get better and getting stronger. And like I say, I know third time's the charm here. I don't think that's going to happen. And Tennessee's playing good basketball right now, and they're physical as hell. I mean, they're starting to really bang and play the way what's his name likes teams to play. So I'm going to go with Tennessee on this one.
Man, one of my favorite players I've watched over the past couple of years have a chance. I love Lamar Butler, man. I love that guy. That guy is tough. That guy, they call him now. What they call him now, Lamarch, because he played well in March. They got a leader. His shoulders hurt, but that guy's a gamer. And they got Owe and Carr and some of these cats who, I mean, This is the first Kentucky team I've seen in a long time. My biggest worry about Kentucky under Calipari is they didn't have enough older leadership sometimes, it felt like, in the locker room for these moments. This team has a really good mix of like really good youth. So that's something that's interesting that for me with this team, that it feels like Pope's built a different kind of Kentucky team that's almost maturing. I ain't gonna say Izzo-like, but he's got the right lead. He's got older people sprinkled in at the right positions. And particularly at the point guard position, he's got somebody who can keep the youngest. That's gonna be an interesting game, man. I'm gonna put it out there like that. I feel like I want to lean to Kentucky, but I just don't think they can shoot like that. They shot 50% twice against them. I don't know if you can do that.
They
But I
got
think they're
guys that can
scoring
shoot.
differently now, huh?
Man,
And
Kobe, they got guys that can shoot now.
They
Kobe
do, don't
Bryant
they?
is a
Yeah,
flat
Kobe
out
Bryant can shoot.
sniper.
Yeah, but they were
Yeah.
hitting lights out 2 games. I just don't see it the third game, man. Doing that. Let's get
Ooh,
those
this is
bars.
gonna be a good game, man. I can already see it. So
We got great. We got great matchups because we don't have Raggy and you messing up the
man,
we got blue bloods. We got
oh my
baller.
goodness.
We ain't got
Brother boy,
Raggy
he gonna
and
get up on
you
it.
know the great story.
Raggedy and you.
Nowhere you. No, we
This
got
cat.
ballers now. Dude. We got
He said we
transfer
got
No, you're
portal.
right.
We got
got the
No,
raggedy
you.
and
man,
you.
we got ballers
That's
now. We ain't
facts.
telling these
Oh
cats
my
that,
goodness.
like
All right.
Uzi,
That's
I,
facts.
Raggy and you.
Well, the thing is, though,
Ain't doing that, man.
the guys from Raggedy ANU, they transfer over to the big schools. Like,
yeah.
Precisely. All of them.
didn't Walter Clayton come from Iona or something like
Yeah,
that?
He
yeah.
was
He came from like
Iona, but
Bennett Sturts will be playing at Iowa next year.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
You know,
No, he will.
I'm
That's what they said.
I'm
He's
joking.
following. They following his coach. His
Everyone
coach
knows
went to
I'm
Iowa.
joking. I mean, the bottom line is that
Lamont Butler played at San Diego. San
But
Diego State is
he
not.
played
They're
4 years.
not bad, but
no,
He's
again,
they're not bad. But he did transfer up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
again, he got
There's
more
a
money.
lot of
He
that.
got more money. So, but
But
I
San
mean,
Diego State's still gonna be good. So
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying they're not bad, but he did transfer up.
game.
Yeah.
They made it to a final game, which is a phenomenal part of their. They'll never forget that.
It won't be the Miami of Ohio's whatever. It'll be the Santa Claras. It'll be some of those West Coast Conference
Miami of
teams.
St.
Ohio.
Mary more than Santa
Because
Clara.
the thing you're forgetting in this is that unless it's changed, international players are a little bit different, right? Because of visa status. So a lot of these teams are building around, right? I think the way they can access money. I could be wrong, but I thought one of the challenges they have,
because you look at the dude from
they'll have the same access to the
BYU,
money.
Demon. Look at Igor Demon. He was earmarked to
Igor
NIL
Demon.
all day.
Yeah.
He went Real Madrid overseas, and then BYU, like AJ, they brought him in. They paid him a bunch of money.
Yeah, they got Yegor
They have to change the
Demon
status?
above.
Yeah, because I think they were having some issues around the visa stuff. With
Well, I know they did way back in the day with Oscar Sheboy. If you remember
Yeah.
Oscar Sheboy,
Yeah,
they couldn't get his NIL right because he was still on a student visa.
Yeah, maybe they had to change that.
They'll find some immigration
find a way.
like that, man.
Yeah.
Too much money to line. Too much
All
money.
right, Darnell, we're gonna go to your favorite team because they up and going. We got Houston and Purdue.
Yeah.
So Darnell, I'll let you kick us off with all the platitudes you want to lay out. Let's go and do your thing, man. Just get it off your chest.
Yeah, I'm gonna start with Purdue. We saw Purdue in the we saw them at Maui last year. I believe it was last year. But they're a fundamentally sound team. They play in the half court. They're led by a tough and rugged point guard that can read the court and can facilitate to his teammates. They have a big man in Trey Kaufman-Renn that can score on the block. They have some shooters. Fletcher Lawyer, he was on the team last year. They still got Miles Colvin. So they're a nice team. The thing about them is they play at a half court. They play at a slow pace. These are two teams that play at a slow pace, grinded out pace. And when you're playing against a set defense in Houston, the number one defense in the country, and you're playing that slow, methodical way, you're kind of playing into their hands. So you have on one hand that they're a team that executes, you know what I'm saying, that doesn't really turn the ball over. They might be able to exploit some things, but on the other hand, you playing into Houston's hands, you letting that defense get set. It might not work out for you. So, hey, I think I think it's either going to be a close game or it could get ugly. This is a game that might get ugly. I don't say it a lot, but I think this is a game that might get ugly.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Purdue. Like they've been in those type of games and gone in
Yeah,
back and forth.
they got guys with experience.
Yeah, and I think Purdue's got to be able to handle the pressure, like you said. Trey Kaufman-Renn has to be what I call a release valve and playmaker. He's a big guy. He's going to have to help with that. Smith has to control the tempo. He's like one of the best point guards in the country, but he can sometimes get competitive and into things, and sometimes he can go in a witness protection program. You and I, like, there's times on the court, you're like, is he still out there? And so he's in Houston has a way to make you play that way. I think that's going to be it. And Fletcher Lawyer needs to go up. He's got to be there. He's got to be a presence in this game, and he's got the ability to get on
He
a
can
run.
be.
But he's got to. Everybody talks about him being from Indiana. He had to move to Indiana. He's really from Michigan. Dad
Yeah,
was
his dad.
was an executive with the Pistons. He
He was
grew up
at
around the
Clarkston
Bad Boy.
for a year.
Huh? Yep.
He was at Clarkston for because I know Foster
Yep.
played at.
Yep. Yeah.
He played at Clarkston. He was
Yep.
Mr. Basketball. So
Yep.
Fletcher's younger, so he was there for a year.
Yeah.
And then when his dad moved, he moved.
Yeah. So, but part of that is, the kid got game. He's been around people, and he's got to show up. I think he needs to give him something. He's gonna need to have a presence in this game. And then
But
Houston,
I think he will. Oh my bad.
no,
I'll wait.
but I think Houston. I mean, Houston's got some junkyard dogs, so you got to be able to. Somebody got to bark with them. We watch them. Like if you're gonna play with them, you got to be ready to bark with them because if once they sense it, they come after you. And then they got to. One of the things that Houston's got to just continue to do. I mean, they got to speed them up. Make Purdue don't let them get into their game. One of the things you can't let Purdue be Purdue, and I think Houston can disrupt that a little bit. And then on offense, they got to put pressure on that rim, and then get them feet in the paint, kick out, really make Purdue scramble on defense. And then they got to have that one and done defense. Purdue misses, grab it and get down, start to discourage them. That this could be a 20-point game. If not, if it's close with like 5 minutes left, Purdue can do some things. Don't let them get no confidence.
And what I was saying with Fletcher Lawyer is I think there are opportunities for him to, be that guy in this game because the big question is how are they going to play Trey Kaufman-Renn? Are they going to play him one-on-one or are they going to do the trap that they usually do? So if they do a trap and they play out a rotation, Lawyer can get free. There are opportunities for him to get free on some occasions. He just got to make the most out of his opportunities. Yep. But that's going to be the game within the game, that battle. And you talked about Houston's ability to get downhill and get 2 feet in the paint. Mm-hmm. I think the other big key for them is offensive rebounding. Yeah, Houston is the number 1 3-point shooting team by percentage in the country this year. And the biggest way that they generate those threes is from offensive rebounds. They play 2 bigs at pretty much all times, and they get the offensive rebound and they kick it out. That empowers guys like LJ Cryer and Emmanuel Sharp to take a whole bunch of shots. If you watch them play, Emmanuel Sharp takes some crazy shots. Yeah, he takes some shots. You might say, I don't know about that one, but they let him shoot it because they know, hey, you got Big Juwan down there, and you got JoJo Tugler. They're gonna tip it up, and they got a good chance of getting another opportunity out of it.
Yep. Wow, we got it going. Then we got Texas Tech and Arkansas. I have you going here a couple of times. I have my list all messed up, but I think I got this because these are teams that you just.
Well, I think because you probably put me down for Texas Tech because I had them in the Final Four.
Yeah, and I felt like I needed to give you an opportunity to do that. So why don't we go with this, Carl? If you want to, it'd be Darnell and Carl because I want to keep you on that because I thought you want to speak to your Texas Tech, and I think also Carl was on the Texas Tech, so that might be good. And then Cecil and I will
not as far as Darnell, man. Yeah, not as far as Darnell, man.
So let's go with Texas Tech, Arkansas. We'll go. Carl, you go first, and then Darnell, and then Cecil and I will take the BYU and Alabama.
Yeah, I think again, you know, I've followed this team, Drew Darnell, as far as just the depth of talent. Coach McCaslin, I think, is one of the best coaches in the country. Equalizer. Yeah, I think Kansas State's going to win. I mean, Arkansas, you see Bully Flan's just not. If Bully Flan were 100%, might be a different game. They probably a higher seed as it is with Arkansas. You know, but you know, we talked about DJ Wagner earlier. I mean, Darnell gave a good preview. You know, we got Toppin for Texas Tech is a phenomenal player. So I think Texas Tech will win this game. But yeah, Arkansas depends on if Boogie Flan comes in like, you know, 95%, watch out. He coming off the bench cooking, but that's going to be the X factor. But I think that, you know, McCaslin and Texas Tech will seize the day. Yeah. So.
All right. Darnell.
Yeah, Arkansas has a lot of players I love on their team, but they just can't shoot the ball. I think there's a pretty even matchup as far as talent goes. Well, actually, you probably say Arkansas probably has a little more talent, but I think the difference is the scoring ability. You know, you got guys like Hawkins on Texas Tech. You got Christian Anderson. You got Darian Williams. And JT Toppin, you know, he's known as an energy guy in the paint, but he had a scoring outburst in their last game. So they have a lot of firepower. They play defense. You know, Texas Tech is a team that, you know, well, you already know from my picks. There's a team I have going pretty far. It's a team that I think highly of, so I got them winning this game.
I think I'm highly, but not that high. Not that high. But yeah. You know, they high, not that high though.
Oh my goodness! All right, we're gonna end this thing with BYU. I think we covered it, Alabama. Coach, I'll throw you out here. What's your thoughts about this BYU Alabama? It's gonna be up and down the floor. We know that.
Well, kinda. I mean, but you know, they say this tournament sometimes is as you were talking about Purdue and Houston, is about matchups, and you know the ifs that are there that everybody uses aren't ifs of all of a sudden people are going to change the way they play. It's a matter of whose will is going to dominate whose will. Okay, and in this case, you know, is BYU's will going to dominate Alabama's, and vice versa? Is Alabama going to get up and down, hit the boards, get all the extra shots, get the offensive rebounds, put heat on, and run the score up to 90 points or so? Or is BYU's will going to take over where they're in the half court running their sets, getting people in foul trouble and getting to the free throw line and knocking down shots? So it's just going to be one of those games. For me, this is almost a pick 'em. If I had to pick them right now, though, because I'm not sure about BYU, I'd probably pick Alabama, but just because I like the way they play more than anything. Yeah, so that's. Like I said, it's one of those whose will is going to dominate whose.
Yeah, it's interesting because I mean, and I've watched BYU a couple times. But watching them in the Wisconsin game and watching them talk afterwards, there's a chip around people think they're not physical, and they went out of their way to show it. They got some shooters now. Saunders and all these guys who shoot the big. They're big. What's his is it Kalita or whatever, or Kimba or whatever? I can't remember. The center.
Someone Kida.
Yeah, that kid is like a wrecking ball. Like he ain't afraid. He goes after it. They're deeper. They're deeper than I anticipated.
They're 10 deep.
They're deep, and they bringing guys off, and they got a level of toughness that they're showing. Arkansas. I remember when we first talked about, like, I wasn't quite. Something was missing with Arkansas. Alabama. Sorry about that. Towards the end of the year, I was
Brother Sears has been terrible this year.
Yeah, he was playing. It was like something was missing. And it kind of clicked.
10 points, bro.
Yeah, and I was like, something feel like it's missing with Alabama, but this BYU team seems like they're together. And I think BYU might beat them.
You mind if I jump in here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's a great matchup for BYU.
Yeah,
BYU, like your description of Purdue, if you let BYU be BYU, they're a good team. You know what I'm saying? They can shoot, they can pass. They have an NBA coach in Kevin Young that has
I
them
think that's a
playing the
big
NBA
advantage,
style.
the way he
But
runs. Yes.
when you mention the physicality thing,
Yeah.
I've seen that. I've seen it a couple both times they played Houston. It was just like watching a deer in headlights.
Yeah.
Especially with Yegor Dimon. We
Yeah.
talked about him earlier. Yegor Dimon.
Yeah.
He's a top 10 NBA prospect, 6'9" guard. Kind of reminds you a little bit of Josh Giddey.
Yeah.
But if you let him see the court, he's gonna dot you up like Tom Brady. But if you put some pressure, if you send some blitzes at him, you start letting them feel a little bit of pressure, it all breaks down. But I don't think Alabama's a team that's going to be able to do that. Alabama's a team that likes to get up and down. They like to score, and it's going to be a game. It's going to be a 90 to 85 game, and that's a game that BYU is very comfortable with. So I got
very comfortable.
BYU
And the point you missed is like I don't feel like Alabama will provide the resistance for them running that stuff. What I was impressed with, you let BYU when they come out of timeout, you could tell that's an NBA coach. They get their stuff. Like that like when they come out of timeout, they run their stuff. You're like, okay, that's a former NBA coach running that stuff, and they put so much pressure on you, and you can see when a team is kind of catching a stride. And I think what's benefit the thing you just said, the fact that they had to play Houston, I think playing teams like that have gotten them ready. Like when you say we played against Houston, like
twice.
They
had to play them twice.
Yeah, they had to play them twice, right? You've seen the Junkyard Dogs. Don't nobody else scare you, right? It's they play with that kind of thing, and I can see them looking at Wisconsin like y'all ain't Houston. Like they had, you know what I'm saying? They had that in them. It was like, okay,
we got our coach. Wisconsin got our coach too.
We doing this on BYU. Oh, okay, I'm doing it. So I got a feeling that they might, I feel like everything's not gonna follow script, and I feel like this is one. This is gonna be the you're not gonna have what'd you call them, Raggedy Anns, but you're gonna have we can call them. You're gonna have teams like BYU, right, that are not that type of team, but they surprise you they going this far, and they got the pieces. And if you haven't been paying attention to them,
they've been hot.
How good they are now.
They've been hot. They've won what?
Right?
10
like they 6 seed.
games.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't come out of nowhere, bro.
Well, no, in this sense, everybody don't know about them. You might know about them, but people aren't thinking about BYU.
You watch it, people know. People
aren't thinking about BYU like this.
They're not thinking about them as a contender, but they saw them as a team that could possibly go Sweet 16. I mean,
if you AJ DeBonsa has put a spotlight on BYU's program.
So. I mean, he put a spotlight on their program because he's gonna be there next year. Yeah, people are like, we're gonna put you in next year, but I don't think we were thinking at the beginning of the year. Nobody was saying we talk about BYU.
Yeah, at the beginning of the year.
Nobody was talking about BYU. We weren't even talking about BYU.
They got Tamika Catchings' nephew.
They look young was actually higher.
You talking about now?
Mark Pope had him playing really well. Mark Pope was a good coach. Had him.
No, I was talking about them in the group chat. I was talking about them in the group chat months ago.
But Darnell, you
I'm not a normal fan.
You kind of worse than watch San Francisco against Santa Clara on a Tuesday night. Like you different. You can recall that. The average Joe is not looking at the game like this. Every day, March Madness is about the everyday Joe. They waking up. CBS Sports Network. Yeah. The everyday Joe. They're looking at that. Yeah. All right, y'all. We got a lot going on here. We're gonna close this thing down. A lot going on. We're gonna give out some flowers. This was a good show, y'all. We're gonna get excited. We'll see what happens. We'll come back next week and check our map, check out what's going on. But let's talk about let's get some flowers out. Who wants to start?
I'll start out. My flowers go out to the Blue Bloods in the NCAA tournament. I'm so glad, like I said, that there's a reason why, like I said, that you had
it's a love letter to the Blue Bloods.
The highest rating in 30 years. People want to see premium cream of the crop talent, and we saw that this weekend. We don't want to see Raggedy Ann you. We don't want to see no name Norman. We don't want to see that. We want to see again the top cats who are going to play NBA. And you look at the thing right now. We got Duke, Arizona, Florida, Maryland. I mean, just cream of the crop, man. Kentucky, Tennessee, Houston. Purdue was in the final game last year. BYU on the come up. Alabama's done well. Texas Tech, who was in the final game 4 years ago. Arkansas, who's on the come up. The cream of the crop. No Oaklands, you know.
Shout out to Greg
We're
Campbell.
gonna see. We're seeing the best, and so that's the thing about. I'm again. I love the NIL. The brothers are getting paid. The sisters getting paid. God, but they all need to get paid. The coaches getting paid. The transfer portal. The coaches can jump around all the way they want to. Look at Coach McCullum. He's went from Northwestern Missouri State to Drake to Iowa in 2 years. So I got nothing. These young men need to get their money. And the thing about it is, and Darnell gave a good point. Some of these cats were at Raggedy Ann U a couple years ago. They left. Now they're with the Blue Bloods. Now they're with the cool kids. Now they're with the cream of the crop. So yeah, they proved themselves at Raggedy Ann U and balled out. And now they're in the big leagues, man. And so we're gonna see a great Sweet 16 where we see Blue Bloods. We see the best basketball possible. And what that's gonna do, brothers and sisters, that's gonna replicate where we're gonna have more NIL, bigger Blue Bloods, more portal. Look at 800 in the portal. And it's going to be beautiful, beautiful basketball. And so that's why I got flowers for that, man. I'm seeing the best basketball I've seen in the last 30 years. And the people are watching it because they see it's the best basketball in 30 years. It's not that mess that the national people talk about, oh, the transfer portal's ruining the sport and the NIL's ruining the sport. No. The fans don't say that. The fans like, we love this. We love excellence. We don't want to see Mr. Mediocrity and Raggedy Ann U and No Name Norman.
We're supposed to be giving out flowers. You giving out flowers and putting dirt on people's graves
I
at the
can
same
give out
time.
a whole bouquet.
Carl's the only person I know who can give out flowers and give you dirt at the same time.
No Name Norman.
Bouquet of, again, my love for the Blue Bloods. Thank you.
All right,
I'll go next.
To the Blue Bloods.
No Name Norman.
I'll go next.
Go next, man.
All right, so Carl talked about a No Name Norman, but I'll talk about a name that we all know, and his name is George Foreman. So George Foreman, rest in peace to Big George Foreman. He was the heavyweight gold medal. He was the gold medalist in the 1968 games, representing the United States of America, a two-time heavyweight champion, once as a young man, and then he came back and showed us all that he could do it again at age 45 when he knocked out Michael Moore. It's like a man of virtue, man that was he had a big change in his life. He was like a real life Apostle Paul. You know what I'm saying? he had a change. He saw the light. He was in the locker room. He saw the light, and he was changed in that instant. And he became a guy that spread the gospel. You know what I'm saying? He was a solid, upright dude, and he was a good businessman as well. He came out with the George Foreman grill that I use today after all these years. So I want to take my hat off and give my flowers out to Mr. George Foreman.
I'm gonna second that one, so I'll throw it to you, Cecil.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Darnell did it to me again, but I think first I need to put some flowers out to the people at Raggedy Ann U.
Y'all love it.
They need after this rating, they need some flowers. And No Name Norman, we put him on that list.
Don't even laughing. Don't look so serious, man.
Hey, just facts, believe me, just facts. But I just a couple for sure. JuJu Watkins, Most Def, just has been and I don't want people to misread what I'm going to say, but talking about an icon and a representative of basketball, not just women's basketball, but basketball, a true ambassador, how she handles herself, how she plays. Just watching her the other night, I was just watching how she moved, you know, and how hard she played. And when I saw it earlier, when she went down the court and she started to go off that leg and she hesitated for some reason. And then when she went down, I knew that something had happened. And I could just feel the air around the country go out when it happened. There was just a collective air around everybody in that stadium. And it just felt like there's this massive gasp that JuJu Watkins wasn't going to be playing for the rest of the season when they saw the injury. And so that just shows you the impact that she had. And so obviously flowers out to her for everything she's done and how she's represented the sport. My other flowers go out to, recently, players have done this before, but it seems like this year there is a real sincerity around players that are giving honor to God for their playing. And the one player that exemplified that to me was Haley Van Lith from TCU, who broke down and cried when she was doing her testimony. And I don't know if you remember her from last year. She was at Louisville, and she just had a nervous breakdown out on the court. I mean, and it was in the Sweet 16, I think, last year. She couldn't do anything right. She got ripped. She couldn't defend. Coach kept trying to put her in. She couldn't, and she literally walked off the court because she just couldn't do anything. And now she's leading TCU. They're back in the Sweet 16. She's averaging 24.3 points a game. And she gave her testimony after this last game and just broke down and cried and said it was because Jesus Christ had her back. Just said that she was at her worst and her lowest. And a lot of the players, if you notice, several players have been doing that through this year. And so my flowers go to them, and they're showing their respect and regard and their faith openly and honestly to people. And then the networks aren't shutting them off. The networks are actually showing them now and not, kind of pulling back because of the sincerity they have. So.
All right. Well, y'all make me whole, brothers. I don't know who else is listening, but it's just good to be in the community. Sometimes I'm like, we just got to get on so we can talk to each other. This is good, man. And I was hoping, all of y'all, have a blessed weekend. Enjoy the rest of this. I look forward to having us get on the air next week to kind of look at and reflect on what we'll see this weekend, both on the women's and men's side. Enjoy yourselves, and everybody listening, thank you for listening, checking us out with the Underground. We're just trying to do it like the little internet could. Thanks for being a part of this conversation and listening in. We'll see you on the other side.
Hard work and dedicated, would like to dedicate this to those who never hate it. Can't nothing hold us down, can always go another round. Welcome to the Underground, real sports with real sports guys. It's a flex that had his mindset, ready for whatever grind next. My mindset, working with the time left. Hard work and dedicated, would like to dedicate this to those who never hate it. Can't nothing hold us down, can always go another round. Welcome to the Underground, real sports with